Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time since we've been on. We've, of course, had a lot of content from Guadalajara. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Before we get into this, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new. The WTA Finals groups have been confirmed, so we're going to go over that. We're going to do a very quick rundown of the groups, and then I'll do a more detailed preview where I pick my winners and also give you my predictions for the winner of the overall tournament later. So keep an eye out for that video, of course, as well. So for those of you who don't know and are maybe not aware of what's going on with the WTA Tour Finals, where it's being held, etc. So it's going to be held in Fort Worth, Texas, at the Dickies Arena. It's going to be an indoor hard court, and they're going to play with the Wilson's regular duty tennis ball. So exactly the same tennis ball they use at the US Open, where there was a little bit of, not fuss, but I guess talk about, why the women were using the regular duty tennis balls instead of the heavy duty tennis balls that the men use at the US Open. A lot of players even, namely someone like Iga Swiatek, said she'd prefer to use the heavy duty. She adapted, though. She, of course, won the US Open, so it didn't seem to affect her too much in the end. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be indoors with those balls. People that are maybe a little bit underpowered normally, they will be, well, they'll definitely have some sort of, not advantage, but the gap will be closed a little bit in terms of power deficit. So that will be an interesting thing to witness, but we should see quite a few exciting attacking rallies with a few winners flying left, right, and centers, especially indoors. Just means it's much easier in terms of serving conditions. We've got someone like Sabalenka who can ordinarily struggle with conditions, with windy conditions and double fault, etc. She won't in these conditions. So let's then go into the groups. Before we do, last year, Garbine Muguruza, who unfortunately has not qualified this year, she won last year, beating Anna Kontaveit in the final and then beating Bados in the semifinals before that. All three of those players, and I did say this in my previous videos, have not qualified this year. And I did say, as we approach this part of the year, that they had a lot of points to defend, and unfortunately for them, they haven't made the cut. So these are the 8 players that have made the cut, and then we'll go into the groups. Iga Swiatek is the number 1 seed, with Ons Jabeur at 2, Jessica Pegula at 3, Coco Gauff at 4. They make up the top 4. Then from 5 to 8, we've got Maria Sakkari, Caroline Garcia, Arina Sabalenka, Daria Kasatkina. So those are the final 8 that will be heading up in Fort Worth. I'm not going to go into the doubles. If you do like doubles, apologies. It's just I don't have as much experience and knowledge on it, so I don't want to talk about something that I'm not as knowledgeable on. So let's then talk about what this means. And what does this mean? Because realistically, we're now going to get a very interesting couple of groups, right? We don't know, well, you didn't know who was going to be paired with who. Now, these are the confirmed groups. So you can see here we have Iga Swiatek, sorry, it's a bit small. Iga Swiatek, Coco Gauff, Caroline Garcia, and Daria Kasatkina make up the Tracy Austin group. It will be running October 31st and November 7th, of course, which starts on Monday and will end on the Sunday. So Iga Swiatek is the favorite for this group, no doubt. She's got Coco Gauff, who she beat in the Roland Garros final this year. Caroline Garcia has been in really good form this year. Maybe not as much in the back end, but she's had some fantastic form, especially through the grass court swing and then leading up to the US Open. And Kasatkina has been a solid performer throughout the year. So, I mean, you're looking at Swiatek, right, to probably top the group is what a lot of people will be picking. And then it's who can take the second spot. I would personally say that, and this is absolutely no disrespect to Kasatkina because she's a very good player, but I think it will be between Coco Gauff and Caroline Garcia. I mean, I might change my mind when I look at the matchups and do a bit more analysis on the head-to-heads, etc. as well. But from a first glance, I think Coco Gauff and Caroline Garcia are going to be the ones who battle it out. But don't count out Kasatkina. She's a very tricky and a very capable player. And I think maybe her skill will be on show even more given the conditions, as I mentioned earlier. So maybe I'm overlooking her. We'll have a think about that when I do the more in-depth video. For the second group, the Nancy Richey group, we've got Ons Jabeur, Jessica Pegula, Maria Sakkari, and Arina Sabalenka. Now, this is for me, this is a pick'em group. I have no idea, genuinely. I mean, you could say Ons Jabeur tops. I don't know, because if you look at Iga Swiatek, she finished on, I think, 10,000 points. After that, Ons Jabeur was on 4,000 something points, I think it was in the end. There's a gap of 6,000 points there. Now, she is far and away beyond the world number one this year. She's far and beyond the best player this year. She's just been so good. She's dominated. So a lot of people are going to pick her to, of course, make the group. Now, what I will also say is that in WTA Finals, Tour Finals, and ATP Tour Finals, there are upsets. There have been in the past. Someone like, even on the men's side, that Novak Djokovic and Nadal, they might not even make it through the groups. That's what makes it so exciting, because the 8 best players of the year battling out. They're in form. They're confident. Anything can happen, of course, in a best of 3 as well. So, I mean, Ons Jabeur is, she's coming off. She played in Tunisia recently. Didn't do as well as she would have hoped, but a couple of good results. Jessica Pegula has done really well, winning Guadalajara recently. She's now had a week off. Is that enough for her to recover? You'd hope so, and then carry that form in. Sakkari made the final in Guadalajara, losing to Pegula, but she had played half of her semi-final the same day. There is an argument to be had that she might have been a bit fatigued, so she's still coming into this in good form. And Sabalenka, again, probably not going as far as she would have liked in Guadalajara, but her form has definitely picked up the back end of this year, the second half. First half, she was struggling a lot, and understandably with some external, I guess, stress outside of tennis as well. So she is a very capable player. We know that she's got so much power as well, and in these conditions where, she should be able to serve a high percentage of first serves in, you would imagine, and also not make too many double faults. That then makes her very, very dangerous. So I would say, genuinely, this is anyone's group. Now, if you had to press me now before I do my analysis and really look into it in depth and go into it in my more an analytical draw preview and prediction video, or I guess group preview and prediction video, maybe Jabeur and Pegula, maybe. Again, it's very, very tough. So that's kind of where we're at with the WTA Tour Finals right now. We're not quite sure, what's going to happen. I would imagine we're going to see some absolutely cracking matches, and I think we will see some upsets. Don't be surprised. Now, I would be extremely surprised if Swiatek doesn't make it out of the group, but I wouldn't be surprised if she loses at some point in the group. I wouldn't. So, in terms of the format, so I've gone through the groups. For those of you who may not be familiar with the format as well, so it's a round robin, of course. There's 2 groups of 4. So each player plays 3 matches against the respective other opponents in their group. Once that's concluded, the top 2 players in each group, they then proceed to the semifinals. Now, the number 1 in group 1 will play the number 2 in group 2, and vice versa. So the number 2 in group 1 will play the number 1 in group 2. So that's how the semifinals will be decided. And if I'm not mistaken, if there are people that are joint on points, second and third, then the first thing they look at is head-to-head. So, for example, if it was Coco Gauff was second and Caroline Garcia was third, or they were, sorry, let's just say Coco Gauff and Caroline Garcia were joint on, just again, this is a random number, 6 points, let's say, but Caroline Garcia had beaten Coco Gauff, then Caroline Garcia would be the one who went through. She would then finish second or first, whatever it would be. So that's how it works. It's semifinals and finals, standard knockout, as per usual. I'm very excited for this because last year in Guadalajara, I thought it was a fantastic tournament. The energy from the Mexican crowd recently, as always, saw the Guadalajara tournament. It was so good. I feel like there's going to be a similar energy in the Dixie's Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. I think it's going to be really, really good. And I actually enjoy the difference that the WTA Tour Finals is bringing to the table, because with the ATP Tour Finals, I do like that it was in the O2. Unfortunately, I missed it last year because of the situation with the pandemic, etc. So there was no crowd, but that was a massive shame. This year's in Turin, but I know what's going to happen. It's going to be very, very samey, like very sleek and classic, which is great. Like, I'm not saying it's not, but it's been going on for quite a few years, and I feel like the more colorful, vibrant, energetic energy that we're getting from the WTA Tour Finals is something that I really enjoy looking at. But maybe it's just me. Before we do wrap up, remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new as well. And do remember to leave us a rating or review if you're listening on a podcast platform. We really do appreciate it. Also, please do check out the Monday Bagel from our friends at the Slice Tennis. I'll leave the link in the description of this video. It's a weekly newsletter. So if you enjoy reading about tennis and you want a quick overview of what's happened the last week in tennis, then do make sure you click on that link. Subscribe to it's free. Subscribe to the newsletter, and you'll get a really comprehensive breakdown. It's an email that you get sent to whatever email address you'd like, and there's some very good anecdotes, rankings, updates in the ATP and WTA, tweet of the week, tennis culture, latest video from them as well, latest video from us, Canadian Corner. So talking about the Canadians, next gen movers, and tennis content from the community. So there's some really, really good bits in there. So I recommend definitely subscribing, and I've done so myself, and I think it's a really good initiative. It's something that for people that prefer to just have a quick read every week as well, something additional to their tennis content they get. It's a really good supplement to have. So do check that out. Thanks very much, guys. Though, stay safe and well, and we'll see you on the next video. And of course, keep an eye out for the WTA Tour Finals draw preview and prediction video, where we'll go in depth, and then also check out our ATP Paris Masters video, which will be out this weekend as well, which I cannot wait to do. Both massive tournaments coming up. See you guys later.